Hello everyone. My name is Srikanth Nandiraju, and today I have my colleague Mehryer Mansoor with me over here. We are from the PayPal Labs. PayPal Labs is like a small startup inside PayPal where we experiment new ideas. The title of our talk today is Beyond Web Checkout. So we are going to, as a part of the agenda of today's session, we're going to talk briefly about the online payments and see some examples where PayPal is already beyond the web checkout. And we would also like to share some of the experiments that we have conducted at PayPal Labs and hopefully motivate some of you to go out and build applications based on our experiences. So PayPal has been a leader in the online payments. We have been buying stuff on the internet for over a decade now. We simply need a computer with an internet connection and a web browser to go to a merchant's website and buy items from the merchant website. So today we are not going to talk anything about online payments. The subject today is basically how to take PayPal off of the web into the off of the web payments world. So one of the first examples of payments off of the web is the PayPal mobile application. We had over 1 million downloads from the Apple Store, and there are several thousand downloads from the Android. People use their mobile phones to send and receive money, which is totally like off of the web. When we say off of the web, it's off of the web browser. So any device that can connect to the internet, we are going to see how to enable payments or where PayPal is today with respect to enabling payments off of the web. The next example of payments off of the web is payments to the bump gesture. How many of you here have used PayPal bump feature? Cool. This is my favorite feature. Today, when two users want to send or receive money, they take out their phones, they launch the PayPal app, and then they bump the devices, and the two devices get paired up, and then that's when they can send and receive money. So as a part of one of our experiments, we will show you how we extended the bump payment beyond the PayPal native application. There was also a demo during the keynote. I think Laura was demoing how a consumer can make a payment to a payware mobile application, which is completely outside of PayPal, which is like a third-party application. So we have done some such experiments in the labs, which we will go through in my following slides. So one of the recent features with respect to the, this is not completely beyond the web, but it drastically changes how we receive payments with PayPal, is the scan and ability to deposit the check. I'm a little lazy. I procrastinate a lot. I wait until I aggregate certain number of checks. Then I basically go to the nearest bank or ATM and then do the deposit. But with this new feature built into the PayPal phone app, users can simply scan their check and then be able to deposit into their PayPal account right from wherever they are. So the next example where PayPal is beyond the web checkout is in the NFC world, and Bling is one of those examples where the Bling tag, I think everyone would have got a Bling tag in your packet when you checked in at the registration. The Bling tag is basically associating your PayPal account to a RFID, and when you tap the Bling tag on this device called Blinger, the amount will be automatically deducted from your PayPal account, and you get notified through a SMS on your mobile phone. So this is totally beyond the web, where PayPal is already enabling payments outside of the web. So the possibilities are enormous, and there are a lot of opportunities. You can imagine being able to check out your stuff at Walmart or any of the stores simply by using PayPal account to pay at the checkout center, or imagine even being able to pay to a gas station with your PayPal account, like laundry stations, toll gates, and vending machines, and parking meters too. So at PayPal Labs, we do small experiments, and the experiments that we focused were around taking PayPal off of the web, and we'll share one of my experiments over here. How many of you have visited the PayPal Labs booth on the second floor? Cool. So as a part of this experiment, we wanted to build a point-of-sale terminal so that merchants can accept payments anywhere and from everywhere. So we thought we will build a point-of-sale app, and we used an iPad because of its form factor and its ability to connect to different kinds of accessories. And also building an app for the iPad is easy, so we just picked an iPad. Since it's a point-of-sale device, and we want all the merchants to be able to process different kinds of transactions, we wrote the application to handle the cash transaction logic, which is simply basically capturing the transaction amount and a brief note about the transaction. And then the application also does the calculation of the tender amount was the change amount that the merchant needs to give to the consumer. Since we are designing a point-of-sale app, and credit card is one of the most popular form of payment, we wanted to enable credit card swipe capability into this point-of-sale application. So we got this device called iDynamo from a company called MacTech. And the device was actually designed for an iPhone, but since we are using an iPad as a point-of-sale terminal, we just went and got a cable which kind of extends the iDynamo, and it can be connected to an iPad. And the MacTech iDynamo is basically a magnetic swipe reader. It basically scans your credit card, it encrypts the data, and it hands off the data to our application on the iPad. The iPad application sends that encrypted data to our backend, which then processes the credit card information using the PayPal APIs. And as I mentioned earlier, bump payments is one of my favorite payment options. And this is the face-to-face payment option. So when a consumer is checking out, he kind of physically stands near the checkout terminal. And we thought bump would be the best way to do the payment, because bump is based on location coordinate, like the geo coordinates. So when you're checking out from a store, you kind of go to the point-of-sale terminal and then you make the payment. So we thought bump payment is a natural fit for that point-of-sale device that we're building. So we extended the point-of-sale app to now send a request money into the PayPal native application. So we have a live demo at our booth on PayPal Labs. So for those of you who did not see the demo, please stop by there and we can show you the bump payment for the point-of-sale terminal. And then we work for PayPal, so we thought we should integrate some form of PayPal payments into this point-of-sale terminal. So what we did is we created a QR code based on the transaction information at the point of sale, and then consumer can use any of the standard QR code applications on their smartphones to scan this QR code, which basically is a URL QR code, and that would trigger the mobile checkout page on the consumer's device. When the consumer completes the payment, the point of sale terminal gets notified about the payment, and the transaction is complete. Since it's a point of sale application, we thought inventory is a natural fit. So the merchants can configure their inventory of items that they are willing to sell from their point of sale. And then we have some basic transaction reports. The good thing about this point of sale experiment is that all of the transactions except for the cash type of transactions appear in your PayPal transaction history. So that's our first experiment from the labs. Now I will invite my colleague Marian Mansour to share his experiment that he has done at the labs.
Thanks, Shrikant. So we wanted to see where else we could take payments off of the web. Now, we had heard of this nifty little gadget called Arduino, which, if you have not heard of it before, is a little open-sourced electronics platform. And being open-sourced, a lot of people have contributed hardware and software components for it. And because it's open sourced, it can interface with quite a variety of sensors and peripherals. So we decided to get one of these Arduinos, and we got some wires, and now we needed a problem to solve. So fortunately, we didn't have to look very far. My esteemed colleague Shrikant has a very sweet tooth and is very fond of chocolate. But he has this annoying problem that whenever he goes to our vending machine, he either doesn't have the correct change or doesn't have change at all. So we thought, aha, here's our perfect problem. And in the classic case of developers scratching their own itch or satisfying their cravings for chocolate, as the case may be, we decided to get a candy machine. It also helped that this candy machine had a little bit of electronics built in. So we thought, wouldn't it be cool if Shrikant could use his mobile phone to pay directly to the candy machine? He wouldn't have to worry about the correct change at all. Now, there are a number of ways we thought about doing this, and the easiest way that we went with was to use a QR code to encode like the transaction amount and the merchant details. So we printed a QR code with sort of encoding the candy price on it, and we slapped the sticker onto the candy machine. Now, the idea was that a consumer can walk up to the candy machine, take a picture of the QR code with any of the freely available QR scanning apps on their smartphone, and it would take them to the Mobile Express checkout page on PayPal. Customer logs in with their PayPal login, clicks pay, and they're done. So there were actually three parts to this problem. First, we needed a way to originate the payment, which we did with the QR code. The second part was to know that a successful payment had been made. And for this, maybe some of you know that PayPal has a service called a payment notification service known as IPNs, which is Instant Payment Notifications. Which is basically a callback URL that you can register in a checkout flow. And once a payment is made, PayPal calls that URL with some configurable parameters that you can pass. Now, this little Arduino can actually run as a web server itself, but it would need a publicly addressable IP address. So theoretically, that's possible, but what we decided to do for efficiency was to have the IPNs come to another web server that we have, and we use a Wi-Fi add-on to the Arduino to kind of regularly poll our web service to find out when a new payment had come through. So this kind of solved the second part of our problem, which was to find out at the candy machine that a payment had come through. The third part was to transform that knowledge into an action in the physical world, since we wanted to be able to dispense candy. For this, we actually had to disassemble the candy machine and tinker with the electronics a little bit. The candy machine, and this is off the shelf. We bought it on the internet for like I think $50. But the way the candy machine operated was it was battery powered, and once you turned it on, it was in a continuous on state. So once you put your hand in front of the mouth, it would keep dispensing candy until you removed your hand. But we wanted to be able to make it act like a vending machine. So we tinkered with some electronics and hooked up the power through the Arduino into the candy machine. The idea was code running on the processor on the Arduino would detect when a payment had come in. It would then switch on a relay which would power the candy machine. Customer would walk up to the candy machine, and its own built-in light sensor would detect it. It runs its own motor, which then dispenses candy. And we then added a second proximity sensor in front of the candy machine because we wanted to be able to detect the same event that a customer has put their hand in front, and they removed it, and then we would shut the machine off. So that was sort of the technical details of the third part of the solution. So we put it all together and got this little candy machine that you can actually pay with PayPal. You guys should come check this out on our labs booth. It takes actual real payments, and the payments we pocket all the payments. No, we actually give the payments to the Red Cross. If you guys saw Tim O'Reilly speak last night, he was also mentioning integration with sensors as sort of the next wave of innovations, and so hopefully this little experiment may get you guys to think about possibilities, as Srikanth mentioned before, possibilities that may not have seemed possible or easy before, that things like electronic platforms like the Arduino fidgets, they now make much more amenable to developers. Vending machines. I would love to be able to pay a laundry machine with my phone, not have to worry about quarters. So I actually have a quick 1-minute exercise for you guys to get your brains jogging and maybe spark a few innovative new thoughts. The Arduino actually interfaces with a variety of sensors and gadgets. I'll quickly run through some of those, and I want you guys to let your imaginations run wild and kind of try to keep up and quickly think like ways you may use cases where you can possibly mesh payments with. So you saw like the vending machine and the laundry machine. So the number of so for example, the kind of things that Arduino interfaces with are biometric scanners, like thumbprint scanners. I don't know if there's actually any easy, affordable retina scanners yet for the Arduino, but there are motion sensors, let's see, pressure sensors. I don't know how you would incorporate that into a payment. There are things like you can regular things like RFID tag readers. You can even interface GPSs with it. And for the output side, simple LEDs, maybe turn a light on when you receive a payment. LCDs, relays. We actually use a relay to turn the candy machine on and off. You can have text-to-speech modules with it, stepper motors to maybe open a garage door. So there are a bunch of different ways that you can interface the Arduino. The cool thing about this, we think, is that this is sort of the missing link that bridges the digital world with the physical world. As my colleague Shrikant had mentioned, we think this opens up a whole array of basically a new frontier where you guys may not have thought about integrating payments before. What are the next steps? How do you get started? So first, imagination, your ideas. Guys think of cool ways that you may be able to do things that weren't possible before. PayPal makes available all these different APIs that you may be able to use. We would love for you guys to come by our labs booth, and if you guys have ideas, we would love to hear or tell you guys anything we can help with to enable mesh those payments. And I think with that, I'll open it up to Q&A. Yay. Go ahead. I think there's a mic over there.
Two questions in your candy machine. First of all, why was the candy machine polling the server instead of your server pushing the request for candy? And the second question, why did you go with a single dispensing unit? Why didn't you take your big candy machine and have 10 different scan stickers for each candy? Scan the particular one when you get a request, payment comes in, and when you dispense, you wire one of those 10 channels to the Arduino, which it can well handle, and dispense one of those 12 or whatever.
Sure. Actually, I mean, that was quite possible, but we sort of went with sort of the easiest prototype. So we just did sort of one prototypical use case. For the other one, we could definitely have done have PayPal push to the Arduino, but we just needed to have it be on a publicly accessible IP address. And so
not quite what I was saying. Keep your server, but you were saying that the Arduino was polling your server incrementally.
Right.
While your server could have, once a payment came into your server, could have simply called the Arduino saying, hey, dispense right now.
Yeah, we could actually definitely have done that. We were trying to sort of aggregate how often the Arduino polled it. So it was just, there was no reason we couldn't have done that. It was just the way we decided to do it.
You mentioned earlier you had a million downloads on iPhone. Just thinking about, are you working a lot with Android, and what system works better for you as far as application infrastructure, do you find?
Anyone from mobile? So actually, we are from the labs, but what I can, I hope someone from the mobile team was here. But was a question about what's the plan for Android? I think if I know correctly, there is a new version coming out for Android. I think PayPal 3.0. I think they are doing a lot of feature enhancement in that version. But as far as I understand, the number of downloads for our payment library has been shooting up for Android a lot. So we kind of are expecting more people to come up with applications on Android. So that's from a library standpoint, and from a release standpoint, we are doing a 3.0. I'm not sure what features are coming out, but someone from mobile team can definitely help you with that. And please stop by at our booth, and maybe I'll connect you with some mobile team members who can maybe give a better answer.
About accepting credit cards payments through my cell phone. There are all of these gadgets, credit card scanners coming out that have these proprietary connectors that allow you to plug in usually into the iPhone or iPad or some proprietary specific device. Well, I happen to have a Crackberry, And well, there was, I think, a scanner that plugged into the headphone jack that used actually audio to encode and transmit the scan data. And I actually found a third-party application for the Crackberry that allows me to punch in and process a credit card. I don't want to see any more of these devices which plug into a specific device. So why aren't they coming out with these scanners that are Bluetooth? You know, it could be in a simple pouch that you slip any phone or any Bluetooth-enabled device, and it's, you pair it, and it works. What's with these proprietary connectors that it only works with an iPhone or whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't like Bluetooth because it drains my phone's battery out. But it's a good point for the manufacturers. But Apple has their own standards. Like if you're building an accessory, you have to get certified through their approval process and stuff like that. But personally, I think I'm a big fan of NFC. You know, the power required is very minimal compared to Bluetooth. But yeah, it's up to those manufacturers to come up with some kind of a standards way of being able to communicate to these devices.
I mean, I think I agree. They should standardize on it, but I think just maybe manufacturer lock-in type of reasons why they continue to have their own separate ways to do it.
But Bluetooth is already there.
I know.
Yeah, Bluetooth is fine, but it's the battery that sucks. Like once you enable Bluetooth, like we are talking about point of sale terminals, right? Like these are like.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question. In most of these examples I see with the bumping or the point of sale stuff or even the candy machine, aren't you assuming that the user already has a PayPal account?
We want them to.
Okay. So I guess from my perspective, in the products I'm building these days, I need a solution that's going to be a complete solution where the person that's using my product may not know that it's powered by PayPal, maybe underneath, I don't know. But when they come in, they may or may not have a PayPal account. So I need a solution that's going to handle end-to-end UI, click here to create your account, okay. Now let's continue with checking out. And I look at these things, and they don't cover that. So what do? Do you say, oh, I'm sorry, you can't bump, you can't use this cool feature. You know, go find a computer with a web browser, go create an account, and then come back to me when you're ready? Is that what you do?
So for receiving payments, we have a workaround for that. Like say if a consumer does not have, or like a merchant does not have a PayPal account, but you can still send money to an email ID that he owns, and then he can basically create a PayPal account and attach that email to that account, then he can get the money on the receiving side. So for the other question, I think we don't have any. Maybe it's a good suggestion. We'll think about it, but as of now, yeah, we don't support that.
Just a question following his question over here is that would that be covered with the guest checkout functionality that you're delivering?
Yeah, the guest checkout is kind of our way to.
You wouldn't need a PayPal account
Correct.
for the guest checkout, right?
Correct.
Whatever.
I'm not sure how many flows that has been integrated into yet, so I'm not sure if that's available on mobile. But yeah, guest checkout is the way we're.
For the web payments, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion. We'll follow up with that.
But for your candy example, you could have built that into your payment page, or you could have taken a credit card if the user didn't have a PayPal account.
Right.
So it's already there. It's support.
But even to accept a credit card, you create a PayPal account first.
No,
for the
guest
yeah.
checkout, you don't need to create a PayPal account first.
Only for credit card transactions.
Hi, my question is kind of silly. So when the sending notification from PayPal to the whatever the target that something's been paid. Like, how is that sent? And is there like some type of password on there to protect someone from sending that? I'm sure it's already been thought out. I just don't know. I haven't looked at it too closely.
It's a simple. So basically, you specify the URL that you want called when PayPal receives a notification. There's no password on that. You can configure some variables if you need to sort of identify the transaction on your side. So, for example, you want to identify on your side that customer ABC made a payment. You can so configure some parameters that when you get the call back, they'll have those in there, so you can identify. But it's basically a post callback. They can, but I think there's a token in there, so they might be able to do a replay of the same parameter again and again. But I believe they're unique parameters, so you can differentiate valid calls from maybe just a replayed attack.
It's actually working using the IPN, you're sending it back to PayPal, so PayPal saying, oh yeah, we sent it. So that's your verification that it's actually sent from PayPal.
So the IPN is working like that. PayPal is sending you an IPN. You're grabbing all the data, you have a token, you're sending it back to PayPal. And PayPal is saying, okay, this is coming from us. So that's how you know that this is not hacking, this is coming from PayPal.
But also don't post your IPN URL to the hacker. If they don't get the URL, they can't steal it.
Is there an approval process for this? Like, let's say if somebody comes up with an idea, do we have to go through an approval process? Or just consume the API?
So if you want to do a POS device like that, is there an approval process to do something similar?
I mean, if you want to build your own POS, there is no such approval process, but yeah, you can pretty much build your own. There might be some vetting for some of the APIs, but otherwise, if you want to build your own, you can just go ahead and build your own application.
As long as you're not dispensing drugs.
Good suggestions.
Any more questions? Please stop by at our PayPal Labs booth to see some of these demos in real time. Great. Thank you. Thank you.